Hi, this is Stephen Chin for nighthacking.com. I'm doing live JavaOne interviews with different speakers who are going to be at the JavaOne San Francisco conference from September 22nd through September 26th. Right now, I have with me Reza Rahman, the Java EE evangelist. How you doing, Reza?
Hey, good man.
So,
Everyone, hi everyone out there.
so if you're on the chat, feel free to ask us questions, and then we'll answer them as we go along. And we're just going to chat about some of the things which you're doing at JavaOne, Reza. So what do you have in store for us at the upcoming event?
A lot of stuff actually. This is obviously going to be a big year for EE and Glassfish with the EE7 release and Glassfish 4 release. So we're pretty excited about it. Lots of content. Hopefully, people can see what we've been up to, these past few years, and finally see the results of what we did.
Yeah, no, Java
I guess.
EE7 is a big deal. So that was how many years was that in the making?
Oh, it was quite a while. It was almost 3.5 years.
Wow.
Of course, that includes the you can imagine the realignment time to figure out the chemistry between Sun and Oracle and whatnot. But and there were some delays due to figuring out and finally deferring the cloud features and the like.
Yeah, no, I mean the
But
Java
I think.
SE7 took quite a while, but it was great to see that Oracle finally um, pushed it out to the open because it was taking forever under Sun to actually get the release out.
Sure. But I mean, the E7 release is actually a very, very nice release. I think, looking back at the history, and, I've been around the EE ecosystem for a long time. This is by far the biggest release in terms of total content. And it's a timely release because it's doing things like aligning with the HTML5 specs, as well as doing the necessary things that we need to continue doing with the EE, namely, you know, uh, making it a lot more productive, filling in some gaps that we needed to do. For example, the batch API and things like the concurrency utilities and the like. I'm really actually most impressed personally with all the refactoring work we've done to increase productivity. Like JNS2 is one of my favorites for that one.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, I
a
agree.
phenomenal change.
Cool. So, what sort of stuff are you doing at JavaOne? I have some websites which you wanted to show off to the viewers.
Yeah, so first we should start with the aquarium because basically if you go to the aquarium, you can keep track of all of the stuff we're doing at Java One and all the stuff that's coming up. Right now, basically all of the links that we'll talk about in the next few minutes, you can get to all of those links from the aquarium. So that's definitely worth looking at. So there's a little entry here that says why join the Java One Glassfish community event. We'll talk about that in a second. There's an entry for example, joining the Glassfish party, which we'll talk about in just a second also. But basically, if you want to find out anything about Java EE and Java One and Glassfish, that's your go-to site.
Cool.
It's blogs.oracle.com/the aquarium. And I maintain that, of course. Just say
All
that.
right. So the second site you wanted to talk about was the Glassfish community event.
Absolutely. So if you're a fan of Glassfish and Java EE, this is really the event that you should go to. I think most people already know about that anyway. It's sort of been a tradition these past few years. It's sort of a rallying point of everyone that's related to the Glassfish and Java EE ecosystem to get together and kind of kick off Java One. It's a Sunday user group event. It's a little bit more laid back than your general session, but we've got lots of content packed in. If I can have you go through this page a little bit, browse through this page, I'll show you what those are. So first and foremost, we're John Klingen, who's basically the head honcho product manager for Glassfish and EE, will be presenting the roadmap. So he'll be talking about what we've accomplished with EE7 and Glassfish 4 and what the way forward is. So a really good place to find out and get involved with the future of EE and find out what we've been up to. I'll be doing sort of a 5-minute brief intro as well. I'm kind of, I guess, shepherding, if you want to call it that, shepherding the event. Beyond that, though, if you scroll down a little bit farther down this page, The two most exciting things that we have in this event is really the executive panel as well as the Glassfish stories. So the executive panel is really one of the few places in JavaOne where you get to talk really face to face and very open and very direct fashion with the people that are ultimately the decision makers for EE and Glassfish. So we've got an excellent panel this year, and by the way, you can pose any questions to this panel even if you didn't even attend the event. So I've got a link to my email address up there, reza.rahman@oracle.com. Send me an email. If you wanna ask any questions around EE or Glassfish, send me an email and I'm going to present exactly those questions to the panel. So that's the general idea, and we will video record the panel and make it available and highlight it on the aquarium later on too. So as I said, we've got an excellent panel this year. So there's John Klingon, I mentioned him already. He's a principal product manager for Glassfish. There's Mike Lehman. He's a VP of product management. Again, on the product management side, a head honcho for everything Glassfish, WebLogic, EE. He's basically John's boss. And then there's my boss, of course, who's Anil, VP of software development. Again, the guy that's kind of got his head in the ground game and day-to-day deals with EE and Glassfish and WebLogic issues. And of course, my boss's boss and my head boss, Cameron Purdy. I think he's a pretty well-known figure in the community. Very good guy to talk to, and very good guy to interact
Cameron's
with.
a good guy, and he's made quite a reputation for himself.
Oh yeah, very well-deserved reputation, no doubt about it. Not just saying that because he's my boss's boss. He's generally a good guy. I've had respect for him.
He's a real hacker.
Oh yeah, he is, for sure.
Cool. All right, so that's the Glassfish event.
And
We want folks to attend, and that's happening Sunday, 9:15 to 11:15 a.m. What are you doing at JavaOne?
I'm doing a bunch of other stuff too, but I wanted to mention the Glassfish stories as well. So this year we've got four stories lined up. People using Glassfish and EE in the real world. Again, shoot away. To ask him whatever questions you wanna ask. At the event. And we've also got the Glassfish party, too. After the event and whatnot, it's sort of a nice follow-on, and you can talk to us in a more informal setting. It's at 8 p.m. at the Thirsty Bear. It's a pretty well-known bar close to the venue as well. So there's a little blurb there on the community page about the party and how you can sign up for that. We've got a ton of people signed up, and it's basically a who's who of the Java community. Honestly speaking, we've had people like Gosling and whatever you name it show up for that party, and this year looks to be no different.
Cool. So that's the Glassfish event. What about sessions you're giving at JavaOne?
So I'm really giving two different sessions at JavaOne. I didn't want to do too many sessions this year, principally because the people that are, the spec leads and Arun and whatnot, they're doing more of the vanilla EE sessions, if you will, introduction to EE and taking a deeper look at all the APIs. I'll talk about that in just a second. What I actually wanted to focus on is more along the lines of how these EE technologies fit into the real world demands, if you will. So it's a bit looking outside of EE to see how EE fits in the bigger picture. So the talk that I'm most excited about really is my talk on Thursday. It's sort of towards the tail end of the conference, where they have actually really the most interesting talks in my mind. So it's about how to use Android and iOS with EE7. Principally using REST and the newly introduced WebSocket protocols. And basically, I'll be showing code on the server side and showing code on the client side and doing an actual demo of how to use the EE7 as a backend to Android on iOS. I've also got a BOF. This is basically what I wanted to do here is take a look at bean validation and EL, two other sort of underdog APIs that people don't talk about much in EA7, and showcase those and showcase specifically what those two APIs mean in the larger context of EE7 and things like JSF and the like.
Cool. So what else do you want to feature about what's happening at JavaOne or in the Glassfish community?
Oh, lots of stuff. Honestly, I could go on and on about it, but the two things that I want to really highlight is two more URLs. Namely, we put together a page just highlighting our footprint, the Glassfish and Java E footprint on JavaOne, right? So we've got some highlighted sessions. The principal one being E7, what's new in the platform, sort of a broad overview talk. Arun is doing 50 new features in E7 in 50 minutes. That's pretty interesting. Some of the key spec leads are going to be in the Glassfish BOF, so that's worth attending. There's another gentleman yet again is talking about why you would switch from Spring Framework to E7 and what his reasons for that is. So that's kind of interesting. There's an E8 and beyond session. It's actually organized by Mark Little of Red Hat, and that's a great place to talk about E futures and talking about what could go into the specification going forward. We've also got demo grounds. I'm going to be at the E7 demo ground, so we've got some cool demos that we can show and tell people on a one-on-one basis for E7 and also a little bit beyond E7. All of you will obviously be talking about the E7 stuff. This page again has stuff about the community and the party, of course, and all of the key people that are involved in JavaOne for Glassfish and E7. And finally, we have a focus on page, and again, you can get to all of this from the aquarium, so you don't have to remember these URLs necessarily. Yep. Focus on page for E7, for EE in particular. So it's basically an index of all of the interesting sessions for E7 and JavaOne this year. Again, a whole bunch of stuff. So you have, of course,
so it's like the cheat guide
sessions.
To how to set up your conference schedule for JavaOne.
Basically, yeah, that's what I'm using it for. The one I really like to highlight here is the lab, is a hands-on lab. Basically, you can go to this lab and actually code E7 and get a real feel for what E7 looks like as a developer experience. So I think that's just phenomenally important. And we've of course got all the BOF sessions and of course our demos and user group session. That's a lot. I really hope people look at this stuff and come see us.
Cool.
Come see E7. Come see Glassfish.
So how are you doing personally on all your session prep and getting ready for JavaOne? Are you completely swamped, or you have things entirely under control?
I'm a pretty fanatic when it comes to preparation. So to be honest with you, I am pretty prepared. So everything is ready to go for the nice. Glassfish event. I think it came together very nicely. We've got some pretty good registration numbers. So if you haven't registered yet, do register for it. Same thing for the party. Really looking forward to that. My session is all ready to go. I've got two other co-speakers that are putting the finishing touches on the Android and iOS part. The server-side code is actually up there already. I put it out on GitHub. If you want to take a look at that, I don't know if you can pull it up real quick. My GitHub account is. Let me get you the URL for it. Here, I'm gonna send it to you real quick, Steve, so you can show people where it is. There we go. And if you see, you'll see a link, a project called Java E Mobile Server. So,
yep, I have it up.
Yeah. So all the server-side code is up there. As soon as my co-authors are ready, hopefully, end of next week, we'll be posting the Android and iOS code as well. So you can, take it and run it yourself and see how E looks like in a mobile environment.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much, Reza, for taking time out of your busy schedule, and I'll see you at the upcoming JavaOne conference.
Oh, sure thing. Pleasure. Thanks for doing the interview. I think this will be great, and hopefully get the word out to a few more people.
Yep. Okay. So